B Lloyd, Lallie to all who knew her, an extraordinary force in the Philadelphia art world. I am Rillis Lefton, board member and past chairman of the Institute of Contemporary Art. Lallie was the driving force when back in 1963 ICA was founded. To me, she was definitely a mentor. All sorts of exciting things went on. Nothing was too outrageous to get into. Some of Philadelphia's foremost collectors of today attribute their interest in collecting to Lallie. We hope with this tape to give some of the spirit that was Lallie's, with footage taken in 1984 and with some interviews of people who worked closely with her in the art world.
Lallie was a grande dame of the city because of her collection. That's really the initial basis for why she was so important in Philadelphia. She was legendary for having done things like buy Mondrian in 1943, supposedly was the first person to ever buy a de Kooning about 1947 or 48. This was an amazing example to set for the collecting community. In fact, I did an exhibition called Philadelphia Collects at the museum. Almost to a person, every collector in Philadelphia who was the generation that preceded Lallie said that it was Lallie's example that guided them, Lallie's daring, Lallie's willingness to buy the Mondrian in the middle of the war. Lallie was very fond of telling stories. I shouldn't say very fond. Lallie would tell stories about how her family and various friends would just show enormous disdain for what she was doing, yet she plowed ahead. She had decided that this was her vision, this is what she wanted to do. And so she became a model for all other collectors in Philadelphia.
She looked to art as a source of freedom and experimentation and courage, and also fun. And this is something that she, in fact, was able to inspire the rest of us with. I think the art that Lallie collected was, in a sense, a beacon to attract conversation and to, in a sense, raise the ante of the dialogue around her. I found her very compelling as a conversationalist. She demanded a high degree of attention. She asked very penetrating questions. There were often no easy answers, and she loved to laugh.
I bought that in New York when it was painted in 1942. It's my favorite piece. But when I bought it, people thought it was a dart game. And other people said, if you paid more than $1 for that, I'll be glad to make you one for 50 cents. And so I give them, my friends, a piece of paper and a black crayon or something and say, you can look at it for 5 minutes and then turn your back and draw it. And nobody could ever draw it. Well, I wanted to show you the Miro sculpture, which I enjoy very much, and is made with some touches by Artigas, the ceramicist. And you can see the touches of white here, and the touches of black there, and turquoise there. and a bright green under my hand there. And one side is a very, very perceptive eye looking at you. And the other side is maybe the side of a person when he gets old. It's one of my favorite things. And the corner is a serpent. And I want to show you how very vicious the serpent is because his forked tongue moves around like that. He made this on commission for me, and I think this was the first, by far the first piece of outdoor sculpture that I bought. And he came over here to look at the site and said, well, I'll make something for you there, and I guarantee it'll be bigger than you are. Shall I add a story?
Sure.
A couple of years ago, we had some men here doing tree work, and it was a very, very hot day in June. And I went out at noontime when I saw they were going to they'll eat their brown bag lunch, and I offered them a beer or a Coke, and they said yes, and then they went to sit under a tree, except one man who got up and said, may I go and eat my lunch in the middle of that thing and see what it feels like? And that thing was the Robert Morris wedge piece.
She gave many things to the community. She gave the Robert Morris to the Fairmont Park Art Association. And I thought that was a terrific thing to come to the community from Lallie because she loved that piece. Now the community has this very important work from the minimal period in a beautiful spot, I think, right near the museum. She also gave her Henry Moore to the University of the Arts. The Philadelphia Museum proudly displays the great Pollock called Male and Female, which came from Lallie.
I think the great gallery, the large gallery at the new ICA that will bear Lallie's name is a very fitting living memorial. The walls are white, the space is clear, open. It's a laboratory, it's a stage where one event after another, one artist will follow another, where astonishing things will occur, some of which will succeed and some of which will fail. And hopefully, all of them will contain an energy and a passion for being alive in the moment and making artwork there that will, in some sense, remind us all of Lallie Lloyd.